Okay, I'll try and make this as quick as I can. Upland has given us the chance to respond to the Trove game that we played during Genesis Week, and this is my take. I just want you to know that I tend to sound a little upset or angry when I'm talking quickly, so that's not my intention. It's just how I talk. Um, I actually had a lot of fun during the game. I do think that it would have been nicer if we had a little bit more of a lead time, but I'll explain that in a minute. Um, I enjoyed what I did, and I think a lot of other people did too. We knew that it was an alpha test and there were going to be problems, so that's not an issue. It took more of my time than I would have liked, but I was not working during that week, so that was okay for me. I actually spent more time developing a tool to help other people play than I did playing the game, and I'll get into that in a bit too. But all in all, I did enjoy the experience. I also watched the show with Durkadan and X1, and I kind of see where they're coming from and what their plan is, what their path is. I know a lot of people are saying that there's not enough transparency, or that they need to work on communication a lot better, but I think what they're doing is the right thing. This game, they've said from day one that no one else is doing what they're doing, and they're trying to create a product which will be long lasting, not just a flash in the pan kind of thing. And they're doing their best to make it so that wealthy players don't take over, and that new players can come into the game and still enjoy what they're doing, and still have a chance to make some money, whether it's in game or out of game. Either way, if you're willing to work at it, you should be able to, generate something. The thing that I think happened was that Troves actually showed us a few of the other issues that Upland is having and things that need to be worked on a little bit. Overall, I think the game itself worked really well. I can't see them improving any of the mechanics of what the game actually is, the collecting the troves, the making the recipes. And obviously it's going to be much more complicated as time goes by. The more troves we have, the more service structures we have, the more recipes we will have. Fishing is going to increase it, trade routes, farming, everything's going to be much more complicated. So people who are having trouble at the moment with troves are going to, they may freak out when the entire game is released. But as everybody said, you don't have to play the entire game. And anyone who tries to, I think, is, they're going to need to be retired pretty much to have the time to do that. So people will probably have to pick one particular avenue to go down. I think the main thing that we saw as a problem, and again, this is not complaining, this is just that these problems have been exposed, and we've known about this one for a long time, is that with Upland, if you want to find out some information, you've got to go to several different sites to find all of the information that you want. And in this case, this was the first, not this, but this was the first thing that I saw. We were given this website address, and we were told that these were the troves and this is where you could get them or craft them. And it's pretty obvious, like, you don't even have to study this for very long to understand that this is the trove, this is where you will collect the troves from, and these are where you can craft them. These look like buttons, but they're not. They just light up as you go over them. So this page is really only good for searching, but it's only good for searching if you know what you're searching for. Most people would call this a croissant. They wouldn't call it a bread roll. And so it's not very helpful to only be able to search for one particular thing and find that one particular thing. If I don't know what I'm searching for, I don't know, like if I can see the picture, but I don't know what it's called, this doesn't help me at all. And so it needs to be clickable. Like, there needs to be some interaction with this. And the other avenue we had was in game. We could see our list of troves that we collected, but again, nothing here is clickable. I can't find that, other than how many I have. I don't know anything about them. Recipes are all gone now, but they did have a little bit more information to begin with. You could see which of these things you needed to find in order to craft the recipe. And at some point during the game, they added this thing which is already here. The locations were added to that list of recipes. But they didn't update this list when they updated the other list. When the DNA animals came along and the sparklet came along, those were two things that didn't get added to this list. So the very first thing that they gave us, they didn't update. And so that to me was an issue. This is something some of us were relying on, but it didn't have all the information. And so anyways, I created this, which is a spreadsheet of directly from this page. I just took all the information that was on here, fed it to AI, and had it create a spreadsheet for me. And this is the result. And so all of the structures are down the y-axis and all of the troves are on the x-axis. They're color-coded for what type of trove they are according to what was shown here, the types of troves that we had. And then I also had one for plants and one that was a legend for, how to read the chart. So this to me was more helpful. I could see much more data quickly than I could here. And so that was important. But like I said, none of these buttons are clickable. And obviously my spreadsheet doesn't have anything either. But if you wanted to know where to get a trove, this is the structure, but you didn't know where those structures were. And this is where Upland came in handy, was that you can search for the city you're in and the structure you're looking for and the fact that it's completed, because that's what you're going to need, is a completed structure. And then you could pull up a list of all of the, in this case, antique stores that are in Upland, in Los Angeles. And so UPXLand has this wonderful feature where you can click on it and it copies it to your clipboard, and then you can come back here to Upland, click on the search bar, paste it in there, and then hopefully you'll be able to go there and find the structure you're looking for. So in this case it did work, and that's the one I was looking for. So these kind of things are handy to have, but I think that at some point Upland should put this into the game. It should be a yellow pages button either in here or somewhere else where we can search for the structure that we are looking for, or the address or whatever. We can already search for the address, but I need to be able to search for the structure, and because that's going to become very important. And so like I said, I think that's another way of collecting all the information into one spot. Now, the tool that I created for Troves was this. It's basically just a tool that brings everything all together in one spot. And it was this page, the recipes page, and this page all together in one spot. And so what it did was list all the troves that I had collected. It lists all the structures that are in game. It lists the plants that are in game, and then it would list all the recipes that I had collected. And then I also had it show me all the recipes that were incomplete. So if I needed like one or two items in a recipe, it would show me that. It also would show me a clickable version of what I had. So let's say corn on the cob. In here, I have corn on the cob, but I can't do anything with it. There's no clickable item there. But here, if I go to corn on the cob and click it, you'll see that it brings up all the information about it. This is a snapshot from before, so the number's wrong. But this is showing me that I can collect them from lawn grass. I can't craft corn on the cob anywhere, and there are no recipes that produce corn on the cob, but uh, I can use corn on the cob in a cereal box recipe, and there were two different types. And so if I want to look at other things in the list for that recipe, I can just click on them and find out more information about them. If I want to go to the crepe stand and find, what kind of items does the crepe stand? I can get a banana there. How about that? I never did, but I tried. So the whole linking everything together in one area, it was very, very helpful. And this, for me, was something that I wish Upland would have done rather than requiring someone like me to have created. This kind of thing should be part of the game. I know that it's a beta or alpha. They were giving us, some tools, but this is the kind of tool that I wanted, and this is why I created that tool. And so the whole needing to find the structures I can't do in here. I don't have a developer's access to the game, so I can't do that myself, but I'm pretty sure that it could be done in here in some way if I had the proper access, but that's not something I want. I want Upland to do that. So getting back to the game, that's the very first issue that I saw. The second one is that the address search is kind of, everybody knows that it's a bit clumsy at the moment. And I don't know if something can be done about that or not. I'm going to go to Japan. I was there I was here for part of the release. If you try to search for something in Japan, everybody knows that it's not easy. You often don't get the result you're looking for, and I think that needs to change. If all of our Trove searching ends up being in the US because it's English and you can easily find the addresses you're looking for, then cities in other countries are going to get ignored. Nobody's going to build anything in Japan if we can't find the things we're looking for. And this is an example of what that is. I've built a tool called the Upland clipboard, which I can copy and paste things into. I'll just zoom into one of my properties. So if I click on this property, it brings up the property card, which my little clipboard will show me this address captured from this card. And if I save these two, it'll save one saves with the city and one saves without, because Upland prefers, if you're searching for an asset, it wants without the city. And if you're searching for the actual property, it wants it with the city. So I had to create the two buttons just to make it easier. But if I were to, this is another address that I found earlier, which I want to show you. If I go to this address, or if I want to go to this address, I've captured the address in the same way that I captured that one. So it came directly from Upland. Well, I can even do it with this one. If I search for this address, I get a whole list of addresses, and I don't know which one of them is right. And it's likely that it's this one because it's actually spelled right. But in this case, if I push this and I look at this list, it's 1312, and I can't pronounce that. But there is no 1312 except for this one. I've got 1213 Way, but that's in Africa. And which one of these is correct? There are two that show up in Japan, and this one's not in English. So I'm not even sure if this is the one, but I know this is the one because I've tested it before. So it's 1312 something or other, and this is apparently the same thing in Japanese. And so it'll take me to the address that I'm looking for. And the reason why I want to look at this is for the third issue that I was talking about, and that is draw depth. If you play any game, most of them with large maps, let's say Fortnite, for example, the draw depth is something that appears where the things in the distance are out of focus and they don't need to have as much detail. And for quite a while, Upland has had too much detail in their objects. And there is a level of detail that appears with the trees. It's a one-shot deal. And I don't know if I'll be able to get it to appear now or not, but Apparently not. There's 2 levels of details for these pine trees. And I think once you've got the full level of detail, that's all it shows you. I'll try refreshing the page and see what happens. Okay, you'll see it change in theory. No, it's not going to do it. Anyways, there's 2 levels of detail for pine trees at least, and probably for other plants as well, and maybe for other things as well. There we go. If you look, it's taking a while. There it goes. So those are the 2 levels of detail, and if there were more levels of detail for objects like that, the game should run quicker because it doesn't have to download as many objects or as much detail essentially, unless you zoom in on something. And so there is more detail to a pine tree than this, and so I'm hoping at some point they will look more like pine trees and less like blobs. But the other problem is similar to that, where we need more detail at greater distances. And oops, that's not the one I'm trying to push. So for example, there should be a farm around here somewhere. There it is. So if you were to zoom in on the farm, you can't start seeing farming properties until you get really close. So this is, I have to be at this distance to be able to see the property. And so to find farmlands is going to be kind of difficult. And then to see structures on a farmland is going to be even harder. And so if you're searching for a structure, you have to be, if you're just roaming around, it's going to be very difficult to find them on farmlands. And some of the larger farmlands, I don't know if it's the same with the ones in Fresno or not, but I know I was finding it very difficult at first. Not Bakersfield, Fresno. Yeah, I think Fresno's farms are even larger. You have to be a long way zoomed in before you see anything. And there's a tractor and it's a minuscule thing. If you're looking for a particular building, you're going to be doing a lot of, oh my God, where's the building kind of thing. So the depth the ability to see properties needs to be at a much greater distance than what it is now, especially for farmlands. But that would depend on the level of detail. I mean, I'm not sure if this can be improved again. Like I said, it's this would be torture on a phone, and so I'm not sure if there needs to be a yellow book, like I said, or yellow pages, like I said. An easier way for us to search for the structures that we're looking for. If you know the structure that you're searching for, it shouldn't be a hidden thing. You already know it. You just need to see it. And if we didn't have yellow pages as kids in real life, we would never have found a dentist or anything like that. So I think these are 3 things that were made evident by playing the game. I loved the game. I thought it was great. I like Upland and got nothing against it. I just think that these 3 things for Troves to work well for new players, especially, those are 3 things that need help: the collection of data, the ability to search for addresses correctly, and the draw depth are the 3 things that I think should be addressed. Thanks for watching.